Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for a very exciting Regent Seven Seas Cruises webinar. My name is Anna. I'm an Industry Relations Manager here at CLIA, and I'm going to just quickly go through some housekeeping before introducing our presenter. The webinar will run about 30 minutes with time for questions at the end. Please feel free to type your questions into the questions module of the webinar, and we'll get to them at the conclusion of the presentation. The webinar is being recorded and will be posted on CLIA's YouTube channel, which is CLIA Global. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Brenna Abels. Brenna comes from 11 years of experience with Regent Seven Seas, including 5 years in passenger services, working in reservations and operations, and 6 years of experience within the Regent sales team. Brenna and her team of 6 not only support your sales representatives, but are also integral in implementing improvements to the tools and assets provided to the sales team to make your lives easier in selling the unrivaled experience to your clients. And with that, take it away, Brenna.
Thank you so much, Anna, and hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here today with you live. I am so excited to be with you again from October. Again, my name is Brenna, and let's take it away. So many of you are already aware of our Unrivaled experience, and that is our tagline. And so I wanted to dive in a little bit more today on a couple things. First, our unrivaled space at sea, and also a few updates on our health and safety protocols and policies, as it's always ever changing, and it's always good to get the most up-to-date information on that as well. And then also I want to dive into some fun strategies on how you can speak with your current clientele on possibly moving them over to Regent, or who to look for to bring on to this unrivaled experience. So first off, I did want to talk a little bit about our unrivaled space at sea, which now is the time to leverage that space. So we've always had that space on Regent Seven Seas Cruises, but now we can really highlight it in the time that we are in right now. Just having that comfort and that opportunity to relax and not be around all of those people all of the time. It really kind of pairs very nicely with our inclusive and exclusive luxury that is Regent Seven Seas Cruises. And I think most of you are pretty familiar with this long laundry list of inclusions with Regent Seven Seas Cruises, but for those of you that are just kind of piping in to see, hey, I might be interested in selling luxury, this is really what sets us apart from everyone else, and just being able to not have to worry about purchasing these things ad hoc or while you're on vacation. Just every single luxury is included. And something fun that I thought would be good for today is showing you some of the quotes from our travel partners that gave us an idea of what it means to them to have unrivaled space at sea. So in this particular case, we have Randy Power with the Power Group, and you can just tell that he's super excited about our brand, just saying that we are the only ones to offer everything before, during, and after the cruise. Every stateroom is a suite. Air to the ship is included, along with hotel the night before, all shore excursions, gratuities, and spectacular drinks. At the very bottom, he says that he's sailed with us twice and he cannot wait to sail again. So I love this enthusiasm, Randy, and if you're listening, thank you. I appreciate all of these incredible things that you have to say. Now, I did want to dive in, obviously, a little bit on our health and safety program, and as most of you know, the entire industry is dedicated to health and safety. And, we want to point out that not only are we making those policies available to you and all of the information as much as we can on our website about what we do to protect your clients on our ships, and also our crew as well. And so all of the different policies and procedures that are always so changing, right? So it's always going to change with what is recommended to us by the CDC. And speaking of, kudos to CLIA for all of the statements that you've provided as a positive reinforcement that the cruise industry is by far the best way to travel that is going to keep clients safe. We are the only ones that require that vaccination up to 100%, and for Regent, it is 100%. Requiring the testing, and that we are going to continue to move along with science and the principles of putting the people first. So again, kudos to CLIA and all of you out there for all of your support. It's been a rough go, but I think in the end, it's only going to make us stronger, because we've always been the safest option, and this is only going to make us safer. So also just showcasing our Council for Sail Safe, led by Dr. Scott Gottlieb. And I'm not sure if any of you had the pleasure of joining our super secret webinar with Frank Del Rio and Dr. Scott Gottlieb a few weeks back, where they spoke live about what's happened, what's happening now, and what the future is going to look like. And although Dr. Scott Gottlieb cannot predict the future, he was very positive in his message, and that we're just going to continue to work with science and make sure that we are traveling in the safest way possible, and we will get there. He's actually himself and his family are ready to be sailing with us in the upcoming months, and so that he has something planned. So if that doesn't tell you, give you the confidence that we're going to be ready soon, and that what we're doing right now to gradually get out there in the water is what's going to work for your clients, and we're super excited to bring them on. So a little bit on where we are as far as returning to the water. So we have successfully deployed 3 ships into the water, our Seven Seas Splendor, Explorer, and Mariner. And unfortunately, we did have to pull back on the last 2 ships that are going back into the water, but they will be soon. So March 9th for the Seven Seas Navigator, and March 26th for the Seven Seas Voyager. So super excited to get those 2 in the water, and then we will be fully immersed with all 5 ships. And then soon next year, our Seven Seas Grandeur will be joining us as well. So something that is kind of new, I think I spoke about it on our last webinar, but I did also want to just bring it up in case I have any new viewers, is our requirement resource. This is a live website that you can visit whenever you want to. You can put it as a favorites, and it's always going to be there, www.rssc.com/voyage-health. So this is for any departures within the next 30 days. All of the requirements that will be needed to get them to the port of embarkation, every single port of call, what's going to be required. Will they need masks? Will they need to keep their vaccination card on them? Will they need to use a Regent shore excursion, or can they hang out on their own? And then also what's going to require them to get home safely. So at 30 days prior to sailing, we actually send a note to you and your guests of this website, and to make sure and pay attention to all of the requirements that are needed, and it's live and changes whenever it needs to be changed. So if anything updates, if the port of call changes, you no longer need a mask, we update that on the website. So that's something, it's a good reference for you to take a look at, and for your guests to see as well. Something that I've been noticing as we've continued with like our webinar-centric shows is that we get a lot of questions on the what ifs, right? So this slide is really for you to take a look at, well, what if what if my client tests positive before I get on the ship, and what if my client tests positive while they're on the ship? And I hope this slide answers a lot of those questions. And if you have any further questions as to, a deeper dive into those, we have a lot of that answered on our website as well, this time /health safety protocols. So take a look at that, and hopefully that will answer most of your questions. But overall, if you test positive prior to sailing, then you will have to quarantine for 5 days in a hotel. If you live near the port, then you can drive home. If you test positive when you're on the ship, we try and make sure that you have the best quarantine at sea, an unrivaled quarantine at sea. And if you're symptomatic, you would have to quarantine for 10 days. If you are asymptomatic, it's 5 days. And if the cruise ends up ending before you are over that quarantine, then you would have to do the remaining at a hotel once you debark. So as far as like who covers the cost and all of that, I've had a lot of questions on that. I can tell you, please go ahead and go to this website and take a look at that, because each situation is going to be a little bit different. But I can tell you that I see a lot on the website is 2 things that your clients can do to make sure that they're all set just in case, is to A, make sure that they have insurance, whether it's our insurance or another provider, and just, you know, make sure that everybody's familiar with all of the coverage as far as COVID goes. A lot of those insurance companies are covering those situations, so just make sure you have a good idea on that. And then also, even though it may not be required, especially like maybe if it's a Miami turnaround, is testing within 72 hours of getting to the pier as well, and proving that you were tested negative at that time. Those 2 things are gonna really help you in the end, just in case. So otherwise, if you have other questions on that, I would highly suggest just taking a look at that website, and it might change from today to tomorrow. So it's always good to take a look at that, and it's always updated and correct and up to date. So speaking of quarantine on board and that Unrivaled experience, something new that we have done is we have actually removed some inventory, and it has now been removed from the deck plans as well. So this deck plan is on the website, have all been updated. If you do have our brand new VTE, our brand new beautiful brochure that was just sent out and available for you to have, unfortunately, it does have the old deck plan. So the new deck plans and moving forward with the brochures, they will be updated. But we are taking away specific suites that are specific for quarantine. So this only just elevates our Unrivaled ratios of space to guest as well as staff to guest ratios. So it's just only, you know, increasing and showcasing our product and our brand. And this just kind of shows you as far as the guests and how that's going to change for each specific ship. So every single ship, we are taking away suites that are going to be specific for quarantine. So that's what it's going to look like for every single ship. And another quote from Kathy Lowe of Frosh, just showing that Regent is doing everything possible to make their ships the most safe in the industry, and the way that they have handled all of the 2020 cancellations as quickly as possible. I know that it was painful for everybody, and I'm so grateful for your partnership and your patience as we kind of moved along with all of that. But thankfully, the clients are rebooking, and it's an exciting time for the future. So appreciate that, Kathy, and thank you very much. Excited to continue with this very safe and Unrivaled experience for all of your clients. This is always a fun picture that I like to show, perfectly sized ships, just illustrating the capacity of Regent Seven Seas Cruises luxury versus premium. This is always a good graph too, which by the way has not been updated with the newest suite and guest count, as you can see. So we are working on that as well. But taking a look at that tonnage, you know, we are looking at half, if not a third of the size of a premium cruise ship. Yet our guest is looking at like more like a sixth or a seventh, and even less than that today, right? So just showcasing that your guests are getting twice, if not more, of the space that they would be receiving on a premium cruise ship. So it's just, you know, it just kind of showcases the space. Again, it's all about unrivaled space at sea, and I love to show you some pictures on all of our vessels because they are all absolutely incredible. We have the 5 that will be in the water very soon, and then the Grandeur will be coming out next year in 2023. So Seven Seas Splendor, Explorer, Mariner, Navigator, and Voyager. So I wanted to showcase some pictures. They are, you know, beautiful pictures that are showcasing the deck space and the personal space in the suites, as well as the public areas. And especially right now when we are at reduced capacity, we do plan on increasing our capacity slowly but surely, getting to 100% within the upcoming months. Just, you know, showcasing that we are, you know, we are definitely ready to be back to where we were before. But just those quiet and inviting public spaces like the library or sitting outdoor at the Coffee Connection on our Explorer class ships, and the sanctuaries at sea that we have with every single suite category, from entry level to the Regent Suite. Every single suite has their own personality and just the space. And so I am going to sneak a few grandeur photos in here as well to kind of give you a taste of the different color schemes. But I'm going to have a little bit of every single ship on here. So here's the Grandeur Suite, the Splendor Suite on the Seven Seas Splendor. Just look at the space. Penthouses on the Mariner are absolutely gorgeous. Going back to the Grandeur, here's a Seven Seas Suite, a penthouse, and of course entry level with the concierge. So the balconies are incredible. Once the Seven Seas Explorer came to us in 2016, we really grabbed the balcony space within our industry. We are now have the largest balcony space at sea once the Seven Seas Explorer came in. So we are, this, for example, this is a concierge suite, 80 square feet on these entry-level suites on our Explorer class ships, and 50 square feet on the other ships as well. So no matter what, that balcony space is just absolutely amazing. And the staff on board are like family, whether it's your dining in suite and having that 24-hour room service whenever you want. I mean, that's going to come in handy, I think, quite a bit, in the world that we live in. And it's very, very nice to have that breakfast in bed every morning, I will tell you. So yeah, whether it's a dedicated butler in your penthouse and above, or your dedicated suite attendant, the staff is absolutely amazing. And I am super excited to go on board and experience it myself very soon. So exquisite dining experiences, whether it's open seating dining or whether you are making a reservation in one of the specialty restaurants or 24-hour room service, there is so much to choose from on Regent Seven Seas Cruises, and we have the space to provide that open dining. Compass Rose is the biggest restaurant that we have on our ships, and it allows for you to walk in whenever you please and sit with whomever you want to at whatever time. What was kind of brand new before the pandemic is we had created an outdoor space. The pool bar and grill is always open for lunch, but it was never open for dinner. And now we opened it for dinner, and it's got rave reviews because it's 100% casual. You don't have to dress up to go here. If you just want to have a relaxing evening, you can have dinner out by the pool grill on all of the ships now in the evening. So, but then also if you want to dress up and if you want to go to the specialty restaurants, you can. This is the Pacific Rim on the Explorer or the Prime 7 on the Seven Seas Grandeur. It really is completely up to you. An unrivaled space leads to an unrivaled experience. So not just those spacious areas on the ship, but also when you're talking about immersive exploration, and now we're bringing in more of these small group ideas. Having the free and limited shore excursions has always been there, and just highlighting that we don't just have one or two to choose from. We have 7, 10, 15 shore excursions to choose from, so your clients can really decide how strenuous they want to be that day. They could even do multiple shore excursions that day. But then if you wanted to bring the capacity down and you wanted to do something smaller, the Regent Choice excursions is always a great option for your clients too. It's a little bit extra on the cost, but heavily discounted, and it's just something special if they wanted to go into that special port of call and do something a little bit more privatized. Reconnect on Regent, I've mentioned it before. I think it's really underutilized, but if you have any clients that are groups of family or friends that haven't had a chance to connect much, like during COVID, this is a perfect way for you to sell Regent and the brand of Regent, to bring them on as a group. And this, if we build it the way for Reconnect on Regent, and if the sailing is open to new groups and it is a new group and we're bringing them on, we can offer you free privatized shore excursions. We can offer you, it comes with shipboard credit and waived deviation fees, so there's a lot of goodies with these Reconnect on Regent. So if you have any groups like that are looking to maybe, elevate their next vacation because they've been hanging out and not using those vacation funds for a very long time, this might be a good opportunity for you to bring this up to them. Another quote I wanted to share with Sharon Phillips with DTM. that, Regent Seven Seas, and, I can assure our guests that are spacing aboard these exquisitely beautiful ships will be a benefiting factor, that even the excursions are limited to how many guests, ensuring a safe and relaxing environment for all guests. So thank you, Sharon, for those kind remarks, and we're definitely trying to build a completely, it's something that we've already provided, but we're just trying to hone in on that extra space that the clients are able to take advantage of. And when you're not in port and you have a sea day, which is one of my favorite days, is having a sea day and just relaxing by the pool, or doing, some trivia or mini golf, the onboard activities as well. With this reduced capacity, your clients have the all of the options to do all of these things. And I can tell you, it's funny because I'm going to be going on one of our ships here very soon, and my family and I are, and they said, are we going to have to, are we going to have to go up to the pool early, because it's a sea day, and, and reserve chairs? And I said, nope, not on Regent Seven Seas. You definitely don't have to do that. Something that is always fun is the jigsaw puzzle. They always have one going in the hallway of every single ship all the time. And it's such a cool, unique experience, because the first couple days, one will get completely done, and then the next day, for the next 7 days, it takes a while for the other puzzles to get completed. So that's always something fun that's always going on throughout the day. And also our spa. Now, I do want to highlight, I think our guests don't realize this, but you don't have to have a spa reservation to hang out in the spa. And so these amazing chairs, the heated chairs with the great views of the ocean, or taking advantage of like the dry sauna or the wet sauna, or if you're on the Explorer class ships, having that beautiful pool off the back of the ship. Clients can go back there whenever they wish. So just, a heads up to let your clients know of these amazing, amazing things that are on board that they may not even be know at all. The Culinary Arts Kitchen, we have 18 stainless steel cooktop stations at the Culinary Arts Kitchen on our Explorer class ships. Take advantage of those. But even in the evening, all of the lounges have their own personalities. The different shows, from Broadway to musicals, are absolutely incredible. And of course, we have a casino on every single ship as well. And of course, we have our destination experts that are on board and talking about the different areas and the different ports of call that we will be visiting. Whether it's culture, scientists, anthropologists, all sorts of just unique storytelling and facts to just listen to about the ports of call, or the unique history of where the ship is sailing at that time. So another quote from Claudia Mace of Palm Coast, just saying that Regent has a special way of making each guest feel like a VIP. I love how she talks about hot chocolate after seeing ice glaciers, or caviar served at brunch. It is just those unique little tidbits that you don't realize are so important during a cruise, but it just makes the experience for your clients so special. So I want to talk a little bit, now that I've kind of talked a little bit about the brand and the unrivaled space at sea and how safe we are. How can you leverage that unrivaled space at sea? Because it's not a new concept, but we're just bringing it to the forefront as that story that you can talk to your clients. So I do want to highlight that we do have a website, Marketing Central, within the Travel Partner Center, that you can take a look at and get marketing materials and toolkits. You can create flyers, such as this Unrivaled Space at Sea flyer with your information on it, value comparisons, you guys know them so well, and how it just really explains the true value of Regent Seven Seas Cruises, and how much money your clients are spending while they're on vacation. It's almost the same amount as when they paid to begin with, and how at the end of the day, we're about the same, if not a little bit more, but for a luxury experience. Something new that I'm not sure if I've mentioned before is our prospect email program, which is kind of brand new. And it's 4 specially designed emails that you can put your name and your logo on, and have them timed to go out to your clients that haven't sailed with Regent yet, but that you think might be perfect. For the first ones is kind of a bit of an intro, and then the next one talks about destination, kind of gets their, their taste for what's their next destination going to be. And then the brand inclusions is next, and then finally talking about that unrivaled space at sea to really capture them and bring them in. So I know that it's timed, so it's like a few days, a week, and by the end of the month, you don't know who's going to be knocking on your door ready to book that Regent Seven Seas Cruises. So take a look at that in Marketing Central, as well as all of the tools that we have at the Travel Partner Center. We are going to be working on redesigning it to make it more easily usable for you. So that's coming this upcoming year and into next year. So be looking for that. But policies, training, such as the RSSC University, where you have the opportunity to graduate each of these courses and get a $100 bonus commission for each one, ensuring that you read through all the instructions and make sure that you register those bookings. But yes, please take a look at all of those. And then also, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about selling tips and the Regent guest. And usually what I'll do is I'll have a slide here for each of those, but I thought what might be kind of fun is to bring on somebody live, a good friend of mine, Sheila Folk, who is the owner of Beyond Travel, a multi-million-dollar luxury agency focused on selling Regent Seven Seas Cruises, ultra curated land vacations, and private jet travel. So she's in the bougie business. In her first year of business, she became the #2 seller of Regent within her host network, and 4 years, 5 world cruises, and countless sailings later, remains one of our top travel partners. So thank you so much for joining, Sheila. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks so much for having me here today, Brenna. This is so exciting.
Yay,
You guys know how much I love your product. Everybody in Regent knows that. I want to be your mascot. That's how much I love Regent Seven Seas. And, I'm so passionate about helping other travel advisors, break into this Regent space and move more of their clients into this space and find more of those ideal clients. Because as you know, I had never heard of Regent Seven Seas when I started my travel business. My first year, I was lucky enough to have the most amazing BDM who shone that light on me, brightly, and helped guide me to sell more and fall in love with the product.
Yes, no, I love that. And I love the story and how passionate you are about the brand. And similar to some of those slides I was showing, I thought it would be so fun to have somebody live and passionate and ready to talk about Regent. And so I had a few questions for you today, Sheila. And one of those is, if you're talking to one of your clients or somebody that's not really familiar with Regent, I know that you are passionate about 75 million different things of Regent, but what would be like the first go-to thing that you would talk about first with that client?
Okay, so I am going to frame this for everybody that is on this webinar today. First, let me start by saying I am going to be 50 years old in just a couple of months, and I am a widow, and my daughter is 12. I've been raising her alone for 10 years and running my travel business and another business in the travel industry. So by the end of the day, I am exhausted. Between running her to gymnastics and talking to clients on the phone all day long, I'm beat. So think about this. How many of you are on this webinar that are mothers, that are fathers, that have been caring for a loved one for years, whether it's your parents or your siblings, and you have that break and literally your insides just kind of melt away when you don't have that responsibility? You know what it feels like inside. right? I know what that feels like. When I walk onto a Regent ship, I feel like I'm at home, but I'm not having to tend to the home. I don't have to think about any decisions for my family. I don't have to think about what I'm going to prepare for the next meal. So when I talk to my clients about Regent, I talk about the feeling that you get and the experience that you have on board. It's unlike anything other. And I will give you an example of how that starts to resonate with your clients who become regular cruisers on Regent. You know, we all had that big change at the last minute with the World Cruise. I had clients in the air, they were flying to San Francisco, the entire itinerary changed. And they went, and this wasn't their first World Cruise with Regent. They went, you know what? We're getting on the ship. And here's why. We've worked our whole life and we want to be taken care of. It doesn't matter where we're going. We know when we get on board, our friends are there. The staff that we've come to know and love over the years is there. I mean, set aside the amazing shore excursions, you know, the incredible value. I do the cost comparisons absolutely to move my clients into that Regent space. But when you understand the feeling and you can paint the picture for your client in the regarding the type of experience they're going to have, and then they get on board and they're like, oh my gosh, it's true, you have a client for life. I recently cruised, as you know, in November, and it had been a couple of years since I had been on a ship. And I walked on board and it felt like I never missed a step. A feeling comes over you. That's the best way I can describe it on how I paint the picture for my clients who have not yet cruised Regent. Whether you're 50, you're 60, you're 70, you still have little kids at home, having your every whim taken care of is remarkable. Walking down that hall to the observation lounge and the bartender has your glass of wine waiting for you because they know it's your wine. They know it's the time that you're going to be showing up is incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I completely agree with you. I've tried to sail like once a year before the pandemic, and so I 100% agree with you when you walk on. And it's all about that feeling and how to sell that feeling, and knowing like what your clients are really interested in and what their passions are, because you can really hone in on that. And like you said, like if you know that they're a mom, if you know that they're doing this, or have that job or whatever, and they're working hard, to spend that money for that amazing vacation, and just to kind of reiterate that, oh, it's going to be worth it.
I think a lot of people don't realize how connected the guests really are to the crew and the staff of Regent. I finally got to meet your head waiter from the Navigator. He was moved over to the Splendor. And so when I cruised on the Splendor, I had dinner at Compass Rose. I made a point to go in and see Alvin and see the pictures of his new baby, who is named after my client. So those relationships run so deep, which I think enhances the overall experience when you get on that ship. That's why when I say it feels like you're at home, but you're not tending to the home. So you've really got to think about the entire experience outside of the amazing shore excursions and how you can teach your customers the little tricks to take advantage of more than one a day, even though you have that 75-minute rule, or partake in those, choice excursions, encourage them to dine around in the specialty restaurants and give them the little tricks. It's the feeling that you're not going to get anywhere else. And I'll tell you, my 12-year-old prefers to cruise on Regent over the other lines. And I know we don't tout this as a line for children, but for your customers who want those multi-gen trips, Alaska is ideal for that. And also the Med in the summer, there are some great sailings too, where you'll have, some other children that participate in the onboard program, because, they don't just plop them in a room. They actually engage with them. So think about that as you have customers who live in that luxury or that premium space, and they're not wanting to go on a larger ship because it's not what they want, because they're footing the bill, but they want to make sure everybody else is happy.
Yes, no, I agree, and thank you for that. And for those clients of yours that have sailed Regent, you had mentioned to me something the other day about upgrading and how important that is, and the knowledge of what that could mean to your clients. Could you step into that a little bit more and explain that to everybody of what you were talking about?
Yeah, so in my experience, I will move somebody into the Regent product, and they'll start with one of the shorter sailings. So they may start with a lead-in category or even a concierge. But over time, they fall in love with the product. And so I think it's really important to understand how they will start using their space on longer voyages. So there's a couple of things. One, the longer you stay on the ship, the more cost efficient, I guess, for a lack of a better term, it is. So the price per day is going to come down. So you can start to encourage your clients to think about what that means from a financial impact if they stay longer. And then the second piece is, if they stay longer, how are they going to use their suite? How are they going to be thinking about the space? So when I do ship tours and I bring other advisors on with me, I point out little nuances like, will your clients be eating in the room more often? If so, then you're going to want to look for a suite that actually has a table and chairs that they can sit at to eat. That will become important for your customers over the long run. And I really think right now with COVID, as we start seeing more people spend more time separating themselves when they dine. Space within the closets. Of course, the closets are amazing, but how much will you be bringing on board, and how is that going to look, and what can that closet space accommodate? For instance, I have clients that I make a request for an extra bank of drawers, but you need space in order to move your clients, in order to accommodate your clients in that way. So also doing a comparison of the price differential, maybe between a concierge and a penthouse, understanding the layout of the penthouse on the different ships. The Mariner has those big, wide open penthouses with the curtain that you can draw. And if you have a husband or a wife that snores loudly, you may want to consider moving them into a different size suite. While on the Explorer, you have the wall separation. And so what are the benefits there? You could start to look at lots of things. The cost comes down the longer you stay. What types of amenities are offered in the rooms, and how do they think that they will be using it? You can point that out to your customer. Understanding the layout from ship to ship. And also, absolutely keep an eye on those upgrade offers at the last minute that come in. That is how you can move those folks into the penthouses and the name suites, and then they never go back.
I love it. I love it. And I wanted to mention like what you're doing right now in the marketing aspect, and how you've started this new business, really, training and talking with travel advisors. And I wanted to explain that first before I ask my final question to you. But I know that you were, you still are a travel advisor, and have been for a very long time, but you had these awesome techniques and strategies, and so you began to get like a following. And a couple years ago, you started this company called Travel Industry Solutions, and it's really the industry's first and only comprehensive resource for helping travel advisors build a profitable, and protected and sustainable agency, founded on proven strategies. So, with that company, do you have any like little sneaky tidbits of information, like anything like, that you could give us like a little taste of what's worked for you in the past?
I think, first of all, relationships. Relationships are key. I absolutely credit a lot of my Regent success to the team in-house. I think that it needs to be spoken louder for all the people in the back, the support that is provided to you. As a matter of fact, one of the trainings that I do in Travel Industry Solutions is I do talk about how to turn your suppliers into profit centers. And Regent does an exceptional job of this with their inbound team, with their account managers, and even your executive management. If people really understood how the entire organization works together, and they tap into the resources rather than using those resources simply to put out fires, it can absolutely catapult you to the next level. So I think understanding that, not only for Regent, but for other suppliers, is critical. We have 3 pain points, all of us do: lack of ideal clients, ineffective processes, and no authority. Regent will help you get the ideal clients, improve your processes, and build your authority. And that's what I love about Regent in particular, out of all of the suppliers that I work with. So part of what I've been trying to do, and thanks to actually my host agency president, Jackie Friedman, she gave me the opportunity to bring a lot of my tools to market, as well as the industry's first warranted legal contracts for travel advisors. So now we're preferred with Nexion, with outside agents, with Gifted Travel Network. But my love is still, being a travel agent. So I'll never let that go. Now I just get to expand on that.
Yes, no, I love that, and thank you so much for joining me today. It's always such a pleasure. I love your passion. I love your energy. I think it matches our brand so much, and it just helps to have you come in and kind of, from your perspective, like, how you've spoken to your clients and how you continue to speak to new clients of Regent, and how easy it can be to sell it.
It's a built-in revenue source, because once you get those clients hooked on Regent, and it is a true cult-like following, 100%. I've never seen a product that has a cult-like following like Regent does. It's a built-in source of revenue, and it's a product that you can be proud to sell. And it's consistent. You're never really having to ever make excuses for why something didn't happen or why you can't meet your customers' needs. And believe me, I have customers who require very specific things, and Regent always meets their needs, always.
That's awesome. Thank you so much again, Sheila. It's such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much.
And just, so everybody knows, you can find more information about her company at www.travelindustrysolutions.com. Feel free to check out Sheila. She's absolutely amazing. Lots of energy, and I love it. And so, really, like, where the thing is now is like, where's your clients going to travel, right? So taking a look at what their next destination is going to be, we are still traveling to over 450 destinations. And as, time changes and as things shift, obviously we might have to change itineraries here and there. As you saw, we had to hold back on a couple of ships deployment back to the water, but we're still going to move forward. So wherever we can go, we're working with all of those ports of call to make sure that we can still hit all of those amazing destinations. So feel free and ask your clients where is their next destination, and then always, keep up with all the special offers that we currently have. Now, I know that this webinar is recorded, and so if you are watching this live or before the end of February, we currently have our wave offer going right now, which is a 2-category upgrade, which is exactly what Sheila was talking about. 2-category upgrade, reduced deposit, and then something special for you as well, a gift card of up to $250. It's a $150 gift card for any of those past Regent guests, and $250 gift card for those bookings for those new to Regent clients. So feel free, any new bookings through February, feel free to register those bookings and get those gift cards going. So we always have offers going though. So if you are watching this after February, please check with your Regent representative or our esteemed reservations team to see what offer is going on right now. We always have single supplement specials. We always have, Canada at par for our Canadian friends. We always have, make sure that your clients are booking on board because the bookings are automatically credited to you, and they get discounts and reduced deposits on board and shipboard credit, and then our ambassador program as well. So make sure your clients are always aware of those things. Never leave any money on the table. Always get them all of those incredible offers. And I want to end the webinar on a little bit of a bragging note of all of the awards that we were, so graciously received last year. But I have to tell you that, whether it's the luxury best cruise line or luxury best cruise ship, my ultimate favorite is that best travel advisor support. And that really warms my heart, everybody that works here at Regent Seven Seas Cruises, because we are truly advocates for you and whatever you need to help with your campaigns, to help support when things aren't going right. We are here for you. So you make sure and reach out to your Regent representative. And if you are unaware of who your Regent representative might be, send an email to that email address right there, rsscsalesassoc@rssc.com, and that goes to my team, and we will make sure that we get you hooked up with the right people. Our reservations team is always ready to make those reservations for you. They're an incredible team. I started there myself 11 years ago, so great family we have here. And with that, I'm going to send it back over to Anna to see if there's any questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We do have some questions coming in. Our first one is from Yvonne, who is wondering what the dress code on board is.
Great question, Yvonne. And it's always these little things that I always want to cover everything as much as I can, but it would just be, 3 hours long, right? So Yvonne, just so you know, it's a country club casual in the evening. So you can kind of dress up as much as you want, but really in the evening time, it's, it could be slacks, it could be khakis, a collared shirt. You don't have to wear a dinner jacket. But again, like I said before, we are making a few casual options in the evening too. So you can always do 24-hour room service, and we have the pool, bar, and grill open in the evening as well. But as far as the lounges and the shows in the evenings, you do have to have that country club attire. So just no denim, flip-flops, or shorts is usually the good rule to go by.
Okay, Got it. And we have a few people wondering about children on board. So I know that Sheila mentioned that her 12-year-old daughter loves Regent. Is there a minimum age and are there children's activities on board?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Sheila, for pointing that out. And we do have children's activities on board, and I'm not highlighting it as much right now just because of the vaccinations, but I know that they're available for children at certain ages. So I'm going to put that slide back in there so for people that have questions for that. But yes, the summer programs, we do have children's rates for third and fourth passengers. We have activities on board. Yes, it's not a cruise ship filled with slides and, you know, mountain climbing walls and all of that, but we do have activities, and I have seen quite a few of those multi-generational families, especially in Alaska, the Mediterranean, even the Caribbean, like in the winter time. So it is definitely an option, and you know, I wouldn't, you know, if the people are interested in that, I would definitely introduce them to Regent. And if you need extra information, we do have that on our website, but you can always reach out to that email address and we'll get you that as well.
Okay, perfect. And it looks like that was our last question. So thank you so much, Brenna and Sheila, for all of that wonderful information. And thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Bye.